In October 1977, Ohio State University was thrown into a state of confusion when 3 separate sexual assault incidents occurred in and around the campus, quickly expanding in scope. The police swiftly intervened and easily apprehended the suspect. It seemed the case would come to a quick resolution, but the unsettling truth was that the perpetrator had never been convicted, despite appearing frequently before judges, prosecutors, and the press. Everyone was rendered powerless by the rigidity of the law and the unique immunity that the individual possessed, as he harbored 24 different personalities. He was Billy Milligan, one person, or more accurately, a group of individuals inhabiting the same body, causing the American psychiatric community to enter into contentious debates, leaving the public questioning the nature of humanity. Ultimately, was Billy a perverted criminal, a talented performer, or a tormented patient? The first reported incident occurred on October 14, 1977, when a student from Ohio State University was threatened with a gun. The assailant led her from the campus parking lot into the woods to commit the atrocious act and robbed her. In the days that followed, the assailant's range of attacks continued to widen. The first 2 incidents were near the medical center on campus, the third close to the dormitories, and the fourth outside campus near a residential area. The victim of the 4th incident began to suspect who the attacker was after recognizing him from some photographs of suspects. From that point on, the police were able to pinpoint that the perpetrator was likely someone with a criminal record and quickly traced fingerprint and DNA evidence from the victim's vehicles, cross-referencing them with the crime database, leading them to the name Billy Milligan. An immediate arrest warrant was issued, and the police swooped into Billy's home in Reynoldsburg, a part of Columbus, while he was still resting, unaware of what was happening. All the evidence was clear when various belongings of the victim were found in Billy's possession, kept as trophies after the crime. The police began to feel puzzled as they discovered many unusual items in Billy's home, creating an impression of a collective living in the house with diverse ages and genders. Meanwhile, the suspect remained oddly calm, offering no resistance or justification for anything. The most intense reaction during Billy's arrest came from his family. According to them, Billy Milligan was an incredibly weak, introverted boy, sensitive to crowds, and certainly not someone who could commit such horrific acts. However, the law does not operate based on feelings. The evidence they had was substantial, making it hard for Billy to escape a sentence that could last up to 25 years in prison. His last lifeline was 2 lawyers appointed by the court, but no matter how skilled they were, Billy's chances of avoiding conviction were quite slim. Yet, at this moment, the first plot twist occurred that turned those slim chances into reality. During their work with Billy, the 2 lawyers felt that his mental health was insufficient for him to stand trial, which led to a postponement of the proceedings so that he could undergo a psychological evaluation by psychologist Dorothy Turner. However, the assessment results left the expert thoroughly perplexed. Daily IQ tests of Billy exhibited varying results, and his EEG showed brainwaves much younger than his actual age of 22. Additionally, Billy displayed other strange manifestations, speaking in multiple voices, with varying styles of communication and behavior ranging from that of a mentally disabled person to a genius. Billy was concluded to be unfit for trial, but whether he was truly mentally ill needed further examination at a higher-tier facility. From this point on, the 10 personalities coexisting within Billy began to emerge, some of which include Billy Milligan as the primary personality. Arthur, an educated Englishman with leadership qualities, an expert in science and medicine, who has the authority to decide which personality awakens to control the body. Reagan, a hostile, hot-tempered Yugoslavian who often engages in violent robberies. Alan, a con artist, the personality that frequently interacts with the outside world, skilled at playing the drums and drawing portraits. Tommy, a professional escape artist, an expert in electricity, and capable of playing the saxophone. So why does Billy have so many personalities inside him? The answer is not surprising, as he had a childhood that can only be described as horrific. Billy's mother was a whimsical woman pursuing a singing career, which attracted a lot of attention from men. Because of this, she often fell into relationships with charming but despicable individuals. Billy's first two stepfathers were alcoholics who frequently abused their wives and children. She eventually kicked both of them out and married a third husband, but this was when Billy's nightmare truly began. This stepfather treated Billy like a sexual toy, often taking him to the outskirts of the city to engage in sexual acts, bury him alive, and force him to drink his urine. Billy's mother was aware of the abuse her son was suffering, but societal norms at the time prevented her from leaving her husband. Billy Milligan had endured those horrific experiences for many years, leading to a fragmented personality composed of multiple identities. As he grew up, he became involved in petty crimes, resulting in several stints in prison. Most of the thefts were committed by his alter ego, Ragan, but he did not take responsibility for the sexual assaults. Those acts were attributed to another identity named Adalana, a female identity within a male body, executed depraved acts against female victims. This was the perplexing case of Billy Milligan. If Billy's body committed crimes while he was unaware of it due to his different identities, can he truly be considered a criminal? If multiple people share one body and one commits a crime, is it fair for everyone to face punishment? These questions divided the court into three factions. One side consisted of doctors wanting to prove that Billy was mentally ill and thus innocent. The second side was skeptical, suspecting that Billy was merely performing. And the third side comprised the police, who bluntly asserted that anyone who committed a crime should be punished, as they shared the same body. However, in the end, the law is the law. Billy was deemed mentally ill and acquitted, subsequently transferred to a hospital in Athens. Here he became a youth idol, with numerous writers and journalists coming to interview him, and the unique talents of his personalities became widely known. During this time, doctors at the Athens hospital recorded Billy's activities and showed them to the different personalities, leading to another plot twist. The identities discovered that there were 14 more personalities who had been forced into silence by another personality, Arthur, during the previous trial. Debate continued, with some people firmly believing in the case, while others suggested it was merely a marketing ploy by the writers and doctors to profit. After all, a story featuring 24 personalities would attract more readers than one with just 10. The financial success stemming from Billy Milligan's story was significant enough for the state of Ohio to enact the Milligan Law, mandating that the proceeds be directed into the public fund. After a period of treatment, Milligan was concluded to be stable, allowing him to be released, with only periodic checkups required. He even found a way to earn money through painting. However, it wasn't long before Billy committed another crime. He was accused of drug possession and sexual assault. Under public pressure, authorities were forced to send Billy to Lima, a place where mental health was treated with electroshock therapy and hypnosis. Soon after, the hospital had to close, and Billy was transferred to Athens Hospital, but he got into trouble with the police chief there and had to go into hiding in another city within the state. However, here he was arrested and subjected to a treatment regimen similar to that in Lima, prompting him to escape to Seattle to live with his brother under the alias Christopher Carr. After a while of living off handouts without working, he ran out of money for drugs and stimulants, leading him to decline further. One day, he wanted to flee because there was a case of disappearance in the area. He feared being misunderstood by the police and pursued. His brother called a doctor in Ohio and secured an appointment for Billy in California. When he hastily arrived, he found the meeting point was a prison, so he chose not to see the doctor, and instead fled to Florida. There, he was arrested and faced accusations related to the Seattle disappearance, but there was insufficient evidence to convict him. Billy was later transferred back to Ohio, but went on a hunger strike to refuse treatment, causing quite a stir in public opinion, prompting them to find another doctor to to pacify Billy. Ultimately, whether due to sheer exhaustion or truly finding a solution, a doctor concluded that Billy's personalities had merged, declaring him no longer a danger to society, but the credibility of this statement was on par with the claims of Manchester United fans at the start of the season. It's worth noting that in the early 1990s, Billy had threatened his girlfriend. "I can handle you, and no one can do anything to me because I'm insane." Nevertheless, by legal documentation, Billy was released and lived freely until he passed away from cancer in 2014. So, did Billy Milligan truly harbor 24 personalities within him? Is it fair for him to live freely despite multiple criminal charges while the victims are left to suffer? These are questions that may never receive clear answers and highlight a thought-provoking issue regarding human rights and legal systems in any legislative and executive framework worldwide. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below,